and welcome to episode 42 of Into the Podcast. I am your host, Sam, and I'm joined each and every damn week by the sexy man that is Ryan Chittenden. How are you, Ryan Chittenden?
I'm very good, thank you, Sam. How are you?
I'm good, mate. It's been ages since I've seen you.
I know, it has been a while.
You're a
Good.
busy boy. I've missed this face. It's a
I've
lovely
missed your face too. It's very lovely.
I've shaped up my beard for you.
It
And
looks
everything.
great. Yeah, it's looking strong.
Good, isn't it?
Thick and full.
Thick and full. That's what people call me. Stupid and fat. Sorry, that's what they call me.
Right, yeah.
Everything all good though, mate?
Yeah, all good. Just busy. Been,
Yeah.
you know, off work, which is nice, but then it's just been full on.
With that and with being Ryan means 1,000 plans to
Yeah.
fit in one day.
Yeah, exactly. You know, double, triple booking myself as usual.
As you do.
Yeah,
as you do.
so unfortunately, another episode coming out late.
Well, we did warn people. The reason we was doing these hour-long episodes for the next few weeks was because we were struggling because of holidays and bits
yeah.
and bobs and time away. So, fuck you.
Yeah, yeah,
Fuck y'all.
yeah, exactly.
You get what you get.
Exactly.
So
you get the scraps.
Yeah, it's Tuesday night now. We was going to try and fit it in yesterday, but we just didn't have the opportunity. So I'll bang us up to, like, literally as soon as we finish recording, and then we're going to do another one. So we're back in time next week, and we can just get back to normal.
Yeah.
Normal procedures, my friend.
Back to standard. But yeah, this is part 3 of 4 of our monster mashup.
Marathon, yeah. And what we're doing this week, Ryan?
Oh, we're doing a big one. It's a big one.
This is a biggie.
I think it's the biggest one in the horror genre.
Yeah, I wasn't overly looking forward to it until we had a week away while you were on holiday, and it gave me time to research it a bit.
Yeah.
And I was like, actually, I'm really looking forward to this one now.
Yeah. So, go on. What are we doing?
Vampires.
The vampires.
We're going to talk about the dirty vampire, Dracula, and all them bloody buggers.
There's bloody loads of them.
There's bloody loads of them, and they love blood.
Yeah, it's all about blood.
So, yeah, I was a bit like, when you mentioned it, I was like, oh, I'm going to struggle with this, because we was going to do vampires first, weren't we?
Yeah,
Or
second after straight after zombies, weren't
yeah,
we?
and I was like, I'm not sure, mate. I'm going to need to look into it, see what films there are out there, see what other bits and bobs. And actually, I still didn't do it, but I started reading a vampire book.
Nice.
And you know me, I don't read at all.
Nice.
But I pulled out I Am Legend.
Yeah.
So
Because it's vampires in the book, isn't it?
It is.
Because the film has like zombies.
They're kind of like zombie
weird
things,
zombie
aren't they?
things.
Yeah.
That,
So I started reading that. It worked out quite well because I had last week off with Litland as well. So whenever I took her to like, she's got into like climbing and stuff. So like, well, rock climbing, but you know, when you take them to the centres and stuff.
yeah.
So I've been taking her to them and sitting and reading while she's been doing that. I've been playing Redfall a lot.
How is that?
Very buggy. But I
Oh,
quite enjoy it. The graphics are a little bit like Borderland-esque.
okay.
But it's fun.
So what's the premise of that?
The premise of that is you've just been taken over by vampires. The vampires everywhere. They don't like burn, which is really weird because you have like a UV gun that'll make them burn,
Yeah.
but yeah, they're all out during the day as well.
Okay.
So I don't
That's a
really
bit
get
weird.
it. So yeah, so you wake up on this ship. The water is random, been pushed to one side, and it's like completely still in a like half like wave.
Yeah.
The sun's breaking up, so they've managed to do something to the sun.
Right.
And you always hear this person called the Hollow Man. Like whenever you go past the TV, you can just see his eyes and bits and bobs.
Okay.
Then you've got the vampires, and then the Hollow Man cultists, they're called, so just real humans.
Yeah.
And then, so the guns are pretty cool. So you get your standard sniper rifles, ARs, but then you have like stake guns,
Nice. Classic.
UV guns.
Yeah.
I've just got to a part in it where like vampire, I don't know what they call it, like you go through this door and it takes you to a different realm where the vampires are like breeding and you've got to try to take them out. It's getting hard now.
Yeah. Okay.
Now I've started doing that. I was like, oh, this game's quite easy. It's just fun to go around killing vampires and do the odd mission, you know.
Is it co-op?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So when you do it says play game or host game.
Right.
So
Okay.
I'm assuming if it hosts, it's like 4-player type.
That's
thing.
cool. That's cool.
So
let's give it a go.
about 50, 60 gig though. So it'd be mind you, you've got fucking ace internet now.
Yeah. Get that downloaded.
Yeah,
in
so
no
it's worth
time.
getting down. It's just fun. It's just fun to go around,
That's what we
killing
want, yeah.
zombies, you know, vampires. One of those like, so you can obviously kill the humans, but you can't kill the vampires unless you stake them.
Right.
So you can't sit back with a sniper rifle because they'll go down. But if you don't stake them in that time,
Yeah,
then
that's cool.
They
That's cool.
they come back full like health regenerated, which
Yeah.
is pretty fun. So I'm loving that. Loving the I'm Legend book. I only got about halfway through it, but I want to discuss a few things about that as well. So talk to me about vampires, Ryan. Like, how do you feel about the genre?
The genre. I was thinking about this. Obviously, we've had a bit of time to prep for this one. And I know I said to you before, like, I think it is probably the biggest genre. And it's like most horror genres, it has been done every which way.
Oh God, yeah.
there is every kind of vampire TV show, film, book out there. You know, you've got your romance ones. We had a whole host of like the sexy vampires, you know, the endless shows that came with that, you know, True Blood and Vampire Diaries and Twilight, and it's all like, oh, this romanticized version. Whereas you've obviously got all the classic horror stuff, you know, dating right back to like the earliest kind of cinema.
Oh, yeah.
Because this is with vampires. I suppose the vampire genre is one of the oldest genres.
Oh, definitely.
I think most cultures have got vampire stories, some of the oldest books, Dracula obviously being one of the massive ones. You know, so even the earliest cinema has got vampire films. Nosferatu.
Yeah.
I think I looked earlier. It's like 1922. It's over 100 years old film.
Fucking mad, isn't
vampire films.
Yeah.
You know, then your classic horrors, like the black and white 1920s. Who played Dracula then? In the original Dracula.
Oh, I don't know. It's who Goss has a tattoo of, isn't it?
Yeah.
I can't remember.
It's going to annoy me, that.
No, not a clue.
I'll have a look in a bit. But anyway, but then obviously moving right through to like your classic, like Christopher Lee's, you know, in like the 60s, 70s, like your Hammer horror. Then you sort of hit the 90s where it became a bit more like teeny with like Buffy and Angel, and then Twilight. Up to now, where probably the most recent stuff, it's a bit more comedy based, I would say. Day Shift, What We Do in the Shadows.
Yeah.
Renfield,
yeah,
came out early this year.
I meant to watch that and I didn't.
Yeah, so like, you know, it's a show. it's a genre that has lasted it's done the test of time.
Oh,
you know,
absolutely.
It predates film, but now it's evolved and transitioned, and it's been done every which way, hasn't it? Every character we've seen, endless depictions of like the classics like Dracula or Van Helsing, who, you know, the
Blade.
Exactly.
Daywalker.
Yeah, like, you know, all these different hybrids. We've seen vampires fight off against bloody every kind of enemy. You know, like look at, like you said, Blade. Fight, like, you know, it's like a Daywalker, like hybrid. Or you've got Underworld, where they're vampires versus werewolves, and you know, it's just it kind of blows my mind how big it is, and I kind of don't know where to start with it. Do you know what I mean?
Like, I mean, then obviously you got Morbius, so it goes over to your comic culture.
Moves into exactly. It is literally in everything. And as a genre, I like elements of that. I really like the classic horror side of it. Gothic horror is probably my favorite horror. That is my jam. I fucking love that. So anything that's sort of like that, you know, like your classic Dracula stories, you know, like the creepy castle, the you know, that atmosphere. I love all that. I'm a big fan of like Buffy and Angel. I love that. I grew up on Buffy, and then whilst that was like at the time a modern take on, like, you know, vampires in modern day. You know, set in a school and stuff, and again, a little bit like sort of the start of like the sexy symbol, like the sex symbols. You know, like Angel was like the heart throb, and then Spike and stuff.
Yeah.
So I liked that, but then I really don't like the whole proper, really sexualized stuff like True Blood or Vampire Diaries.
I never watched any.
I
of that
never
stuff.
got into all that. I like Twilight. It was just a bit like Twilight was too teeny for me. I've never watched them. I've never seen any of them.
Me neither, and I won't.
No, it just doesn't interest me. So, but I really love the comedy stuff now as well. Like, I've not watched Day Shift yet, but What We Do in the Shadows, I love the film, and I was obsessed with the film. So for those that don't know what We Do in the Shadows is, this is a big recommendation from me.
Massive, yeah.
The film, it's basically a mockumentary, like a fake documentary about a house share, like there's about 4 vampires that live in a house together, and it's like a fake documentary crew just filming their everyday lives in the modern world. It was originally like a New Zealand film, a bit of like an indie film, wasn't it?
It was very indie, yeah.
You know, Taika Waititi is like the main character, and Jerome Clement, from Flight of the Conchords.
Yeah.
Hilarious. It's so funny. It's proper dry sense of humor, like just getting up to everyday shenanigans, and, you know, arguing about the dirty pots or leaving dead bodies on the floor and stuff, like cleaning up the dead people, like, you know. But then that's been made into a TV series, and
still not caught that yet.
Have you not watched any of it? Oh,
No.
it's so good. I was worried about that because I love I love the film,
Yeah.
and a lot of time, when they rip stuff off or do like a breakaway, it's like, oh, is it going to be as good? Just as good, if
Good.
not better,
Yeah,
I would say.
Because sometimes, like, does it need this?
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
it. But Matt Berry's one of the vampires.
Okay.
Kalen Novak, I think he
Yeah.
was Phone Jacker, was he? I can't remember the female's the actress. I can't remember her name, but she's fantastic as well. And again, it's exactly the same premise. They're just different vampires, and it's just following them. I think there's 3 series of it. Oh, it's so good.
Yeah.
I think it's on Disney Plus actually.
Oh, is it? Oh,
yeah,
I'll definitely give it a go then. 'Cause I need something.
So funny. They have it again, like a whole different type of vampire in that. They have the what's he called? I haven't watched it for ages, so my mind's drawing a blank. He's like an energy vampire. So he sucks the life out of you by being boring, basically. So it's like a piss take of like normal people. So he doesn't have fangs or anything. He has a normal job. He's just like this very sort of like generic bland man. He just goes to work and works in an office, and he just goes up to people and chats their ear off, to the point where he's like, leave me alone, but they just drains the life out of them. It's so funny. Like he's like an energy vampire. Oh, it's quality.
Yeah, because that's what I love about the film is they have every type of vampire in that. They have the sexy vampire played by, can't remember that guy's name. Who plays the sexy vampire in the film?
In
What in the Shadows?
That's Jermaine Clement's one, isn't it?
No, because he plays the one with like the frills who's trying to get
like the older one, but he's like the bit of the perv, isn't he?
Yeah, the like the cool leather jacket vampire. Then you've got there's a Nosferatu type.
Yeah,
vampire.
there is.
So
it's just a different one.
They're all hundreds years old. They've got a mate called Dave or some shit. He's not a vampire, but he's following around.
He's just he's like the familiar or whatever. Yeah. Oh, I really enjoy it. I really like the history associated with it because like the different cultures and stuff. And everyone's got different vampire stories. I love like the fact that not even like in Dracula how it comes to like Whitby and stuff, and it's all like gothic-y, and they have the gothic weekends in Whitby, don't they?
Yeah.
I've never been. Have you?
No, I've never been to the Gothic. I really want to, and I will. It's up the fucking road for us. You know what I mean?
I know it's not far at all, is it?
I love that whole coastal line anyway. Farley, Whitby, Scarborough.
Yeah, beautiful.
We'll do it. We'll do it one year. But the
That'd
problem
be
is
amazing.
though,
You'll
not be able to get B&B for less than a couple £100, I bet.
Oh, at least, yeah. We're probably better off just camping.
Oh God, yeah.
And then just walking into the town.
Yeah.
Imagine it's fucking crazy,
Mental.
like proper mad,
Yeah.
proper weird shit.
That's what I like as well. I'm all about the weird shit, Ryan.
What do you think? What's your take on the whole vampire genre?
Yeah, I think I'm very similar too. I prefer the old Gothic vampire, the slow moving, they're just creatures of the night.
Yeah.
Like they're there to suck your blood, they live in a crypt.
Yes.
There's only certain ways you can take them down. I kind of like I like how they've evolved and now they've got superhuman strength.
Yeah.
Because when you think about the vampire, like you forget there's a lot of shit they can do. They can fly.
Yeah.
A lot of them have like mind control.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And it's all just about sucking your blood to survive, really. And I remember being a kid. The vampire was the scariest thing to me as a kid,
Really?
Growing up, I remember being terrified of, and I had nightmares of it, where vampires were just trying to bite my neck, and I would like be running away, and I couldn't get like the head away from my neck, and they kept trying to bite me. And,
yeah.
The pain of like the teeth like nipping at me, like I used to have that dream
Wow.
as a kid, and I remember just being so scared of vampires, and just I wouldn't like a bit like I am now. I'm 35 now, and I don't acknowledge certain things that's going on in the world because it scares me.
Yeah.
That's what I was like with vampires. I wouldn't acknowledge vampires. Okay. So I would avoid films, I'd avoid everything. So it just terrified me.
Wow.
So I think that's why I like the like gothic side of stuff.
Yeah.
I do love how it's turned to sort of comedy. So I love Day Shift. I thought it was fantastic.
I still not watched it,
It was just fun. It was great. I watched Blood Red Sky again the other night. So it's a Netflix original German film.
Right.
And it's vampires on a plane. Basically.
Interesting.
I watched it the first time and I put it on, vampires on a plane, this is going to be bad. You all know I don't like vampires on a plane. I don't like snow and I don't like planes.
Yeah.
And, but I was like, I'll give it a go. And I remember enjoying it. So when we said we'd do vampires, I was like, I need to bang something on. And I rewatched that. And it was good. It's one of those films that it's about 2 hours long. It's a little bit too long for
Okay.
me. I think it could have been shorter.
Yeah.
But the whole way through it, they've got the bad guy terrorist who like takes her blood and injects himself with it just before he dies so he can turn into a vampire. And then like all these people on a plane as someone who's about to die, like a multi-millionaire. And he's like, please, someone save me. I'll give you £1 million. And they're like, that's not going to save you, dude. So he's trying to find a vampire to bite him just so he doesn't have to die. Like that last fucking grips and on, I don't want to die, so I'll just turn into whatever you are.
Right, yeah.
The vampires look pretty creepy. They've got really weird ears that move. I didn't like that.
Okay.
But yeah, it's fun.
Yeah.
And it's a horror as well, which I like because
that's good.
We've not had a horror vampire film in a while.
We haven't had a scary one for a long time.
No.
Not that I can think of. There probably has been because, again, like zombies and ghosts and everything, these films are churned out all the time that we won't even know about constantly. I think there's a new one coming out soon, and I know it because David Dastmalchian, the actor.
Yes.
From he's in Suicide Squad. He plays Polka Dot Man, and he's in he's in like The Dark Knight, and he's in Ant-Man. He's one of those. He's one of those who's got a very distinctive face. So I think he's great. I absolutely love him, and I follow him on Instagram. And I listened to a podcast. He was on a podcast episode. It was the one, I think I mentioned it before. It was the Michael Rosenbaum one.
Yes.
He was on an episode of that, and he was out filming. I think he was out filming in, I don't know, Romania or something. They're doing a new Dracula film, but it's just about the journey, because in the story, Dracula moves, doesn't he, from like Transylvania to England.
Yes.
And he goes on the boat. So it's all set on the boat, and but it's supposed to be like a proper horror.
Ooh.
Like the crew gets slowly taken out. What's it called? I think it's got a pretty good cast as well.
Okay.
The boat's got a very specific name as well.
Is that what
the Last Voyage of the Demeter? It's called.
Okay.
So yeah. Yeah. So Liam Cunningham's in it. Like, there's quite a few different names. Yeah, I think that hopefully that'll be quite cool.
I think we need that. I think we need a scary vampire film. We've not had one in a long time. And don't get me wrong, I love the Blades.
I love the Blades, right? Let's take a minute to talk about Blade.
Yeah. So I wanted to try rewatch them this week, but when was it? I can't remember what day it was. It might have been. It was over the weekend. I didn't have Littlin, so it might have been Saturday. I was just having a pretty low day. Do you know when you're having them days, you can't be asked to sit and watch. So I put Blade on, and when you just kind of like, I was itching to do something. So I was feeling a bit shitty. I was like,
you're not really feeling it.
I couldn't concentrate. It was really annoying because I was like, I'm having a Blade day.
Yeah.
And when I put it on, I was really enjoying what I was watching. That first scene where they're in the club,
yeah,
and they're all turning, and the blood shower comes on,
oh yeah,
and then you just see him, and I'm like, oh my god! But yeah, I couldn't get into it.
Yeah, I get that. Like,
is there a better fucking daywalker than Wesley Snipes?
No, he's
fucking cool.
He is
man.
so cool. He's iconic in that role. It'll be interesting to see Blade come into the MCU.
Of course,
I'm not.
Mahershala Ali as well, isn't it?
Yeah,
I love Mahershala Ali.
He's so good, and I think he'd be great as Blade. Probably like what I think Blade going to the MCU is not going to work because you want it to be gory, you want it to be violent.
Oh, yeah,
Like, you look at the Blade films; it is blood, it is violent, it is proper epic violence. He's ripping vampires' heads off with wire and like chopping them left, right, centre with his sword and like just blowing them apart with silver bullets. And it's like, they're a hybrid film, aren't they? Like action, horror, even like martial arts in there as well.
Time, yeah.
So I'm not sure how it'll translate into the MCU, but we'll see. I'm excited. If it wasn't Mahershala Ali,
I think this is the thing. Mahershala Ali is big enough to know what roles to take.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. So he's a serious actor as well, isn't he? Like,
so I think he's probably found something here that is like, this is going to work.
Yeah.
Unless he's just a big fan and wants to be in the MCU. You don't know.
Yeah, exactly. We'll see. But that keeps getting. He's technically had an appearance in the MCU, hasn't he? You hear his voice at the end of Eternals.
Mate, I turned that shit off.
Yeah, it's crap. I really don't like it.
I
but
did about 40 minutes.
There is a post-credit scene. It's Kit Harington's character.
Yeah.
And he opens like a sword, like a chest, and there's a sword in it, which is like an ancestral sword. And he's going to touch it because I think he's actually going to be a superhero, like a British superhero.
Okay.
Like the sword's got something. It's like the Black Knight or something.
Oh, right. Okay.
But so apparently he's going to team up with Blade. I think they're like sort of like vigilantes, you know, like I suppose that would work quite well. Like if they've both got like swords, like fighting in the night, it could work quite well. But you hear Mahershala Ali's voice, like it's off screen, but he's about to grab it. He's like, "You sure you want to do that?" or something like that.
Yeah.
Best part of the film.
Oh yeah.
Like just that cutscene. There's got none of the Eternals in it or anything. I was like, that could be really cool.
And I think what I'm looking forward to there is because I was very disappointed with Morbius because love Jared Leto, love the idea of the character. There was some scenes in it I quite enjoyed, but as a film in itself, it was dog shit.
Yeah, and the whole vampire. It comes back to what you were saying earlier about vampires' abilities, and like we were saying, my favorite is when it's a bit more subtle. Like, yeah, they can charm people. They're quite charismatic. You know, okay, they might be able to fly, or I know the classic can turn to bats and stuff, but this one is so comic booky.
Very comic booky.
Turn into big flocks of like bats, and then Matt Smith said bats, and they're all just flying and fighting each other and smashing through walls, and you're like, it's just a bit naff.
It didn't help that Matt Smith was in it, and we all know I'm not a Matt Smith fan.
Yeah, I hated him in that film.
Yeah.
But anyway, coming back to Blade, when you rewatch Blade, I do love them. I still think they hold up, but they're very 90s, early 2000s.
Oh, for sure.
Everything's like sunglasses,
thin blue or red sunglasses.
Yeah, like leather, like tight leather, or like leather jackets. Everyone's wearing it, or bloody, going to like raves. There's always like raves or big club scenes, and everyone's just there going mad.
Kevin and Perry on in the background.
Yeah, pretty much, yeah. It's, but I do love it. Blade 2, though, that's my favourite one.
Is that your favorite? I can't remember Blade 2, because I remember obviously the first. No one can forget the first. The third, I remember vividly, solely because Triple H with that little dog.
Yeah,
and Ryan Reynolds. Bad jokes.
But I feel like that. I've only seen Blade 3 once, I think, so I really didn't enjoy it. But I remember at the time I really enjoyed Ryan Reynolds, but that was before he was massive.
Yeah.
He was sort of like still quite new on the scene. 1, obviously beautiful man. 2, fucking shredded.
Oh yeah.
In that film.
Yeah, he is.
And 3 is quite funny. So he he just sort of, he had something about him. He was a bit different.
And that's the thing with Ryan Reynolds, isn't it? I still love Ryan Reynolds, but you get bored because Ryan Reynolds plays Ryan Reynolds.
Yeah, that's it.
You can get bored of that. It's like, we know you're going to make some fucking jippy joke the whole way through it. Nothing's ever serious.
I totally agree.
But that was early Ryan.
So it worked because it was new. It was still fresh.
Yeah.
It wasn't like, okay, we've just seen this 20 times. But Blade 2 is the one where he ends up having to team up with the vampires to take down like the hybrid vampires. So there is
That's right.
a vampire. What's it called? I can't remember the actor. Anyway, he's the one that he's like, I think is he like called Novak in it or something? But anyway,
I'll Google what
he feeds on vampires.
Right.
So the vampire community realize they're going to need Blade's help to take down this hybrid vampire before he starts, because he's spreading really quickly as well. Like when he feeds, they turn into this hybrid vampire very quickly.
Yeah, Nomak, yeah.
Nomak, that's it. Who plays him?
It is Luke Goss.
Luke Goss, that's it.
There's some fucking people in there.
Oh, yeah, like Ron Perlman's in it, Norman Reedus is in it.
Danny
like
John Jules is in it, mate.
Yeah, he is. It's such a random role for him as well. Like he's like a serious vampire in it.
Yeah.
So it's quite cool. So like there is like the hybrid, there's like the vampire team that were training to take down Blade, but obviously they have to team up together to take on the new like super vampires.
Yeah,
so they've worked together. It's like this like uneasy alliance. So you got like Blade with his helper Norman Reedus, and then Whistler's back. So it's those three, and then like these vampires, which is like Ron Perlman, Danny John Jules, like Donnie Yen is in it.
Oh shit, Donnie Yen's
He's like really
yeah.
cool in it, like with his fucking swords, and he's fucking henching that as well.
Yeah.
But it's just cool. Do you know what I mean? Some epic action sequences. Again, it's like ridiculous because it's like anything. It always has to outdo its predecessor. So it's not just vampires now; it's hybrid vampires that feed on normal vampires.
Yeah.
it's like the next level. But I fucking love Blade 2. That's my favorite one. I can rewatch that time and time again.
I'm definitely going to rewatch him just to go back to the. I mean, so what would Blade have been? 2000. Blade 2 was 2002.
I think Blade 1 was 99.
Was it?
But
So-
late 90s,
Yeah,
early
yeah,
2000s, yeah.
Yes, and I just want to get back into that fun action. You know, I'm back to consuming all horror and crime at the moment. So
Yeah.
films is pretty much horror,
Yeah.
and TV shows is crime shows at the moment.
Okay, nice.
So it'd be nice to get a bit of action in there and just a bit of fun. and-
Yeah.
So yeah, we'll get some Blade on it.
Absolutely.
Fancy a snack?
Yeah, we've been talking for a long time without a snack.
I know, and I'm a bit worried that I'm going to get everything out now and then be like, shit, I've nothing to say for the next time.
Yeah.
So let's just take a minute.
Take a minute.
Let's hear from my boy Drew, who I got to see last Monday, which was very
Nice.
exciting.
I got to see him at the weekend as well.
Yeah, it's always good to see Drewy boy.
It
isn't
is.
We wrote music together.
Lovely.
Yeah,
oh, you're
boy.
gonna get like a little collaboration album out.
Basically, I showed him some songs I don't know how to turn into songs, and he's going to turn them into songs.
Amazing.
And then there'll be
Teamwork.
Drew's songs, which I'm totally fine with, as long as he says my boy Sam gave me inspiration. For
Yeah,
this."
yeah. Give you a little
so
writing credit.
That's all I need.
Yeah, that's it.
Right, Drew, sing us in, baby.
Here come Sam and Ryan, listen to them both speak. They've come 2 hours all with their pop culture critique. But are you even a nerd if you don't overread? So come on everybody, it's the snack of the week.
Snicky, snacky, snooze, Ryan. Are you excited?
Always my favourite segment.
Now, I had an idea for this week's snack of the week, and it was literally from the shop that is the closest to my house.
Yeah.
But there's roadworks on the junction where that shop is. So I've avoided it like the fucking plague. So
Okay, fair.
I had to go to a different shop to find snacks because my idea is going to have to wait.
Okay.
So I was like, the roadworks will be done in a couple of weeks. Then I found out the roadworks are there for a year.
Fucking
so in
hell.
a year's time, we'll try that snack.
Oh,
So
God.
I got us these bad boys. I went to Co-op and I was like, what new chocolate bars we got going on? Something I've not tried before. And I saw these. A Kit Kat Chunky, my friend. Hazelnut cream.
Ooh, that's an interesting twist.
Now, I love hazelnut
I quite like hazelnut, yeah.
in everything.
Mm.
So I was like, this is going to be fucking good, my friend.
I fucking love Kit Kat Chunkies.
Yeah, me too.
I think they are very underrated as a chocolate bar.
I totally agree. Because not only is it banging, you get to nibble all the chocolate around the outside and stuff. But
Yeah.
it's like a little game at
Yeah.
the same time as a snack. And I like
Yeah,
to
it
play
is,
with
yeah.
my food, just like a
Yeah.
vampire.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, absolutely.
Um,
Should we get straight into
Let's
it?
get straight into this, mate. Yeah.
Cheers.
Cheers.
That's good.
That was a fucking good Kit Kat, mate.
That is very good.
Mm.
It's just the right amount of hazelnut cream in there.
It literally is the right amount.
Like, that's perfect. It's not overpowering. It's there. You can taste it. It's not too sickly.
I'm putting it out there, mate. This is the best Kit Kat Chunky I've ever had.
I'm going to agree with you.
The addition to that hazelnut, my friend, is just,
Next level, that.
oh,
That's so good.
I've been killing the snacks the last couple of weeks, haven't I?
Oh, yeah, on fire.
I mean, it's no goo pop, but
This is great. This is a snack that I would definitely happily go back and buy
Oh, I'm getting more
time and time again.
oh yeah.
There's not many snacks that we've had where I go, I'll definitely buy that again. Even if I've loved it,
Yeah.
I wouldn't just happily pick it up.
Like Little Moons.
Fantastic.
Loved a Little Moon.
Yeah.
I've seen them.
Yeah.
I don't think the price tag helps,
No.
but I've seen them and I haven't thought I best go get them.
Like you're calling a petrol station.
Oh, you just
You
grab
see
it,
one of
it's like
these, you're going, I'm having one of them bad
that. Oh,
boys.
100%. Oh, yeah. Well, that did not last long, did it?
Demolished that.
Mm.
Demolished it. Well done, mate. Well done. Top tier, that. We need to get on our leaderboard.
We'll
That-
get started on that soon.
Yeah.
Me and Ryan are just away from Vampire Talk a moment. We're going to sit down and we're going to talk about the future of the podcast. We've got some ideas to make it a bit more accessible for everyone.
Yeah.
A few more fun things to do.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we've been taking on ideas and criticisms and everything that people's been coming with us, and we want to mold this podcast into something that everybody loves and that everyone can enjoy and everyone can consume. So we're going to sit down at some point. I say we do it over a beer, mate, because I've not had a beer in I can't remember how long.
Wow. I had a beer about, what time is it now? 4 hours ago.
Nice. Yeah, I have not. It's been weeks and weeks since I've had a beer. I've been drinking a little bit of white wine recently.
Oh, yeah.
Never liked white wine,
No, I never took to it.
but because I've been... Cool. Josh is going to buy fish and chips for us.
Oh, what a legend.
Thanks, Josh.
Thanks, Josh.
Yeah, but because it's one of those things, again, a bit like spice, I think you get into it if you just force yourself to
Yeah,
enjoy it a
okay.
bit more.
Yeah.
And I've been doing it with white wine. It's been nice. So if I've had a drink recently, I've been having a white wine.
Oh, lovely.
But I got the taste now for a skinful of ale.
Yeah.
So
Get
we'll
that.
sit down, we'll have a podcast meeting, we'll turn this into the best podcast in the world, over a load of fucking ales. We'll make the snack of the week board.
Snack of the week leaderboard, yeah.
Yeah. And boom. We're on
Yeah.
it.
And I think what's quite nice as well is that, like, the podcast has changed quite a lot already over coming up for a year now.
Oh, massively, I know.
And I think it's quite nice that we can just chop and change and take things,
Try new things.
try
It'll
new
change
things.
again, won't it?
It'll change again. Well, yeah, I like that idea. It sounds good.
Yeah, right. Back into the vampires, because we're trying to keep it at an hour for the next few weeks.
Yeah, just keep them short and sweet. You
Short
know,
and sweet.
Keep them
Everyone's
on
happy.
a theme, and away we go. Can I know we had a little
Go.
discussion in the break very briefly,
Mhm.
but this is something we didn't mention.
Go on.
But I want to talk about it.
Yeah.
Vampires.
Yeah, I've heard of them.
Vampire's teeth. When you see a vampire film, what kind of vampire teeth are you wanting to see? Because I've seen every kind, and a lot of them now just piss me off. I think they just
because
look
now
shit.
They're just razor sharp, fucking everything's razor sharp.
Yeah.
Whereas for me, it was just a good set of gnashes with some fangs.
Yeah, it's just a classic, your normal teeth, but you got the two fangs.
Yeah.
That's what I want to see.
Extendable or not. Because some, because
Yeah,
when you
okay.
think about it, back in the day, some of them like, and then when they went all,
Yeah.
how would you describe that in a word? Vampire-y.
Like, yeah, all
When you get all
vampire. When you get all vampire,
The
I think
teeth then came
yeah.
out,
Yeah.
so you could hide it.
I don't think it always not permanently have the teeth. A bit like like in Buffy and Angel,
yeah.
they would look normal, and then they would go all vampire-y, and then they get like the fat, like the furrowed brow, and like the face and the nose, and they'd all look a little bit more gross, and the teeth would come then.
Is that the type of vampire you want to see? Is it?
Kind of. It's not too much. I don't mind. I just want the fangs. That's what I want to say.
Yeah.
I don't mind if they extend out to be a bit longer.
Yeah.
That's fine. What I don't like is the shark teeth that you get.
Which is because the vampire has slightly gone down the zombie route now, hasn't it?
Yeah.
They are just this evil monster all the time,
Yeah.
creeping and crawling in the dark, and that's what they look like. They are just the undead.
Yeah. And I've seen I get like a full set of vampire teeth, top and bottom, that almost extend over their actual teeth.
Yeah.
And they're all like a shark, like sharks, because they have just double sets. I don't like that. Or I don't like it when they CGI the mouth to be like extend longer. So like they've got a big wide mouth. Why? What are you doing that?
No
it
need.
It just looks shit. It just looks stupid.
Go back to Gothic. They just want to come in. They want to seduce you, because that was the whole point.
Exactly.
These motherfuckers seduced you, didn't they?
Yeah, the bloody did. Yeah.
Have a little suck of the blood.
Yeah.
And they'd lay you down nice and gently.
Yeah.
Nice and gently. Just suck your blood. And
Yeah.
now you just lay there and slowly die and turn into one of us.
Yeah, exactly. So, yeah.
That's a very good question. I didn't
Thanks.
think of that, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're fucked up them teeth.
Yeah, just regular old teeth. That's what I want to see.
Yeah. Right, I want to get into TV and film.
Yeah.
Which we've just been talking of our favourites.
Okay.
Okay? And I'm going to start us off
Yeah.
with possibly the greatest zombie film of all time.
Vampire.
Vampire film.
Yeah.
Dusk Till Dawn.
Classic.
Fucking love it. Because again, they look normal until
Yeah.
they fucking
Yeah.
till they vampire out on
Yeah.
us.
Yeah.
Selma Hayek.
Ooh.
baby. Matey boy's got a gun for a dick.
Oh yeah.
What I can't get my head around in that film is the child sex offender at the beginning. Every time I watch that film, I forget he's a sex offender and he doesn't care.
Yeah.
Like, and I'm like, oh, I forgot how creepy this beginning bit is with what's his chops?
Oh.
The director. Fucking what's his name?
Tarantino.
Tarantino. Yeah. I always forget what a fucking creep he is.
Yeah, he's always a creep.
Yeah.
When he acts in his films, he's always a creep.
Yeah, and you think, is that even real life? That's not even real life.
Yeah.
Because he does it so well.
He does it really, really well.
But yeah, I always forget what a little freak he is in that film.
Yeah. He's a fucking freak in Planet Terror as well,
Yeah.
where he's like he's just like an army man. He's just a soldier, but he wants to rape the females
Yeah.
near the end. But they have that where if they don't drink like breathing in the gas from their gas canisters because
Yeah.
they're infected,
Yeah.
they start to rot into zombies, and he's just there with his dick just rotting away, and he's like, it's fine, I can make it work. He's like, you are such a fucking creep.
I haven't seen that film in years. I need to rewatch that.
Oh, it's so good.
But yeah, so what we think about Dusk Till Dawn then?
I love that film. It's
so
one that I've
good.
not seen that much. I've probably seen it a couple of times, and I've not seen it for years. So it's not one that I can just. I always forget about it actually. So it's not one that I know really well.
Yeah.
What a great film about that is it starts off as a gangster film, doesn't it? And
Oh, yeah.
like that, these two gangsters, and halfway through it just totally changes, turns on its head, and it turns into a mad vampire film.
And it's got everything you want. The priest.
Yeah.
That's the other thing we're forgetting. Big time on garlic. You don't see much garlic.
No.
The cross.
Yeah.
Two big things that we forget about. So you need to be getting priests in fucking vampire films.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Absolutely. The religion's a big part, generally, isn't it?
God,
Of
yeah,
vampires.
absolutely.
It's very much like the devil's work, or like it's always. I feel like it always has had a big religious. Probably that is linked to how old the vampire story is. That
Yeah.
people would seek protection from the
From a
church
priest. Oh, absolutely,
and from religion and from God. So I do like that when that still translates into modern films, but you don't. Again, I feel like because religion's probably dwindling in the modern world, you see that less in the films now.
Oh,
like you'll
absolutely,
even
yeah.
see it now where they'll put up a cross or a crucifix, and the vampires are like, "Yeah, I'm not."
Yeah, whatever. Whereas back in the day, it was like,
Yeah, super vampire-y. Great shout though. Yeah, really good, really good.
It just popped to me then. I was like, how have we not spoken about Dusk Till Dawn?
Yeah. One of my favourite vampire films, which we've not mentioned once, is Interview with a Vampire.
You know what? That was another one I wanted to watch because I remember loving it when I first watched it, but I was very, very young.
Yeah.
It was my mum's favourite film.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
I was like, I need to rewatch that, but I can't remember much about
I
it.
haven't watched it for years, but I think I first watched it when I was a teenager, and I got it on DVD really randomly, and I was obsessed with it. I used to watch it all the time. And that's one where it's based on the book by, I want to say Anne Rice. Insane cast. It's like a film from, I want to say like 95.
Yeah, I think it was
And it's
mid-90s.
and it's just, it follows like, it's an interview with a vampire. So the premise is Christian Slater is a journalist,
Yeah.
and he has an interview with Brad Pitt's character, Louis, I think, who is a 200-year-old vampire, and he talks through his life, basically, like the major events and his transition from him being like a farm owner or whatever in like, I'm sure it's like Louisiana or something.
Yeah.
And then up until like modern times. And he gets turned into a vampire by Lestat, who is played by Tom Cruise.
Mm-hmm.
So you got Brad Pitt, Tom Cruise, Christian Slater,
who at the time was massive.
yeah, I think it's like Kirsten Dunst, or is it Kristen Dunst?
Kristen Dunst, isn't it? Let's have. I'm just going to.
She's in it, but she's like a child, like she's like dead small. Antonio Banderas is in it.
God, I love Antonio Banderas.
And
Love him.
And that's an insane film, and I feel like it's one of those that it's a bit of a hidden gem of a film. Not many people
massively, yeah.
know about it or have seen it. It's very much like a mid-90s film. Is it 95? You got it up there.
Yeah. Where's the year? 94.
94.
It's got fucking Trigger in it, mate. From Only Fools and Horses.
Really?
Yeah.
But that's one where it's It's like a classic vampire story.
Yeah.
They have those abilities that we've talked about. They're very charming. They try to blend in with society. They move from city to city as the years go by. They try to, move with the times. They're all beautiful. Fucking hell. Brad Pitt, Tom Cruise, Antonio Banderas in their prime, and they've got it, like they've got the bright eyes, like the bright green or blue eyes, and like the long, lovely hair, and they're very pristine, aren't they? And they're perfect. But it addresses loads of like the vampire like tropes and stuff. Like they turn Kristen Dunst's character into a vampire when she's a child because I think Louis he wish he could have a kid.
Yeah.
So Lestat turns a vampire into a kid, and then the idea that over hundreds of years she hates it because she'll never grow up, and the idea is that you become immortalized from whatever age you're at.
Yes.
And I think it's really good. It's a film with no action,
no
fighting, no big scenes. It's very much a character-driven, story-driven vampire film with an insane cast.
Yeah.
So that would be a big recommendation for me, if anyone, because that's one film I don't know anyone that's seen it other than you.
Yeah. Years. Like I say, there's certain films in my past that my parents have made me watch.
Yeah.
Like it was important in our house that we had to watch Schindler's List. We had to watch like The Boy in the Striped Pajamas, like horror Holocaust films, just to give us that knowledge and stuff.
Yeah.
Interview with the Vampire was one for my mum.
Wow. Okay.
And it's probably because of the sexy men. Like she loved it so much.
Yeah.
But yeah, she made us watch that as kids.
It's quite. I'd say it's like an adult, quite a sophisticated vampire film, and Tom Cruise is incredible in that. He's plays like Lestat, who's like one of them, but he's quite villainous and he's quite sadistic, and but he can be that charming self as well. I can remember age ago, I think I read it in an Empire magazine, and it was like a special edition, and they talked about Interview with a Vampire, and Anne Rice, I think it's Anne Rice who wrote the book. She kicked off when they cast Tom Cruise because obviously he was like, bit of like a pretty boy, done some films in like the 80s and like not very villainous.
Yeah.
And she was like, oh, I didn't want him to be it at all. And then he like, I think he almost steals the show in it. He's fantastic. There's some scenes in it where it gives me the chills a little bit. Like he's scary.
Yeah.
And she came back and she was like, he was incredible. Like I was so wrong.
Yeah. Why did I open my mouth?
Yeah. So that's a really cool one, which I would definitely recommend.
I'm going to give one more recommendation for myself. And if you haven't seen this film, then you're living under a fucking rock. If you haven't, you have to put it on now. I don't know what it's on, but I will find that out in a minute when we spoke about it. So we're going from a very dry, character-driven film from the 90s about, vampire's life and how they became, to saxophones, to pure 80s filth with fucking Lost Boys.
Oh my God, yes. How have we not spoken about the Lost Boys?
Lost Boys. One of the greatest vampire films of all time ever.
Oh, so good.
Kiefer Sutherland, show fucking stealer.
Oh, yeah.
Everything about this film is perfect.
Yeah.
Even down to the bullshit fucking 80s cheese you get, like the saxophone shirtless man.
Yeah.
The fact that they've got a Rob Lowe poster on the wall or something like that.
I think there's something like that, yeah.
just
bobbing
really
around
random.
on the motorbikes and like, it's cool. It's a cool film, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's proper 80s. It's iconic. I think I've only seen it once all the way through.
Have you?
Yeah, and I saw it not that long ago, like within the last 2 or 3 years. It was one of them that I just missed. It wasn't in my household, so never grew up with it, and just didn't really stumble on it, but I knew it was like cult classic.
And it is cool. I mean, I've seen it hundreds of times now.
Oh, I really want to rewatch that actually.
Now, is it Corey Feldman?
Yeah, he's in it.
He's one of them. So the idea of two kids, they're kind of like on the Jersey Boardwalk or something like that, or wherever it is. Big into the comic books. They think that they're seeing vampires, and they're sort of going out investigating. Very Goonie-esque in the 80s type
absolutely.
film. But then you got Keith Sutherland and his band of bastards that are just the vampires.
Yeah.
And they are just...
They're just like punks, aren't they?
They are punks. That's all. They're vampire punks. They're menacing. They're fuckers. There's a scene where, again, they're using the mind control and he's eating rice and he thinks or noodles and he thinks
it's like worms and stuff, yeah.
maggots and oh god, it's such an amazing film.
Yeah, yeah.
'Cause it's got like the whole. It's got the Goonies feel to it. It's got like a Rear Window feel to it.
Yeah.
It's got everything you expect from an 80s film. So if you can imagine any 80s film, what the soundtrack is going to be like, that's what you
the
get. The
attire, the everything
about it, you know.
Great choice. That is so
if
so
you
good.
haven't seen The Lost Boys, in fact, I'm just going to quickly bang it in Just Watch. By the way, Just Watch is an app. If you don't have Just Watch as an app, get it. It tells you exactly where things are played on.
Oh, amazing.
So
I definitely need to get that.
Yeah, so for like now, obviously we want Lost Boys. So type in Lost Boys. Oh, no, it's brought up Lost Boys. There it is. And it'll tell you if it's on any streaming site. So it's on Prime and it's on BBC iPlayer.
Incredible. That's genius. I'm going to download that.
Oh, it's banging, mate. I use it all. It's American, so sometimes it's wrong.
Yeah,
so
okay.
Sometimes say Netflix, but it'll tell you if it's like, oh, it's on Prime, but it's to rent.
Right,
But
okay.
it'll say it's on Prime for free.
Yeah.
It's on
Oh,
Prime for
nice.
free.
I'll definitely need to get that.
So Lost Boys, if you haven't seen it, everything you want from a fucking 80s movie, everything you want from a vampire movie, it's outstanding.
Yeah.
Love Keith Sutherland in
Oh,
anything
it's
he's in anyway.
so good.
He's in a horror film called Mirrors, which is absolute dog shit, but I love the film.
I love that film as well.
Yeah,
I was thinking
love
about
it
that last
so
night because I'm big into my horror at the moment. I've
Yeah,
got back
yeah.
into it and yeah, I was thinking about Mirrors. I don't know why. Like,
Yeah,
it's-
real random thing. Because
I love the premise of it.
Love the
like
premise
the
of it,
idea that it's
yeah.
like fucking, it's like a demon or something
that lives in mirrors.
that lives in the mirrors. So
Yeah.
any reflection, it can fucking get you. Because that is scary, isn't it? Like
Yeah,
horror,
yeah,
classic
yeah.
horror. You look in a mirror and you see something behind you, or you see something in it. Like
Yeah, because it's you look in the mirror. Because it's Amy Smith in it, isn't she? And she looks in a mirror. She looks in the chrome bath knob,
yes,
and she sees herself slitting her own throat.
yeah,
But her throat, she's not actually doing it, but her throat is getting
yeah,
slit.
yeah. That's it.
That's a fucking banging film.
Yeah.
It's not, but
It's
it
not,
is.
it
It's
is,
so
yeah.
good.
Yeah.
Cool. Right, we've got about 10 minutes left. So what I'd like to do is and Josh has just got back with the chips.
Nice.
So what I'd like to do is, as we did with the zombie film, let's talk about if we lived in a world where there was vampires and how we would survive.
Yeah.
So I've been reading I Am Legend.
Mhm.
Again, I'm not that far into it.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, unless I'm doing something like taking Little into soft play or whatever, I don't get a lot of time to read. So the premise of obviously that film is he's the only man alive. He thinks he's the only man alive. He's bored. His whole life consists of waking up, doing repairs to the house because they're like throwing rocks at his house, blah, blah, blah. And it's like quickly looting, coming back in, waiting for the night to be over. But in it again, so like all the vampires are outside of his house. They're all like, come on out, come to us, like trying to coax him out. And then obviously they go in the morning again and he can carry on doing what he's doing. But if it's a cloudy day, he doesn't go out. So, and as the book goes on, then he starts realizing that daylight does it to him. So he didn't realize that to start off with.
Right.
So again, very early on, he didn't really know what they were.
Mm-hmm.
But there's a really interesting part of the book that I'm loving at the moment is he's the last man alive
Yeah.
in this world where he can't go, can't leave the house at night. What he does during the day is he'll go around and all the houses around him are going to stake the vampires who are sleeping.
Right. Okay.
But his urge for sex in this book is written so well. So the whole time, these vampires are trying to do everything to get him out.
Yeah.
So they're outside, their tits are out, they're
Yeah.
touching themselves, they're like, come on, like playing with themselves to try and entice him.
Right.
And
Okay.
the way he describes the like gut-wrenching feeling of he's not had sex in so long.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
every time he looks out the window, there's like a female doing this and honestly, it's so fucking interesting.
Yeah.
How it digs into that sort of thing. You don't, because this is quite an old book, I Am Legend.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah.
So to read that, you think, fuck, yeah, I would never have thought of that as like
No.
as a thing. It honestly, it's so interesting.
Yeah.
So
I think what's interesting about that whole story is it's like an apocalyptic world, isn't
massively,
it?
yeah.
And you don't often get that in a vampire world.
no, you don't.
It's normally the zombie one,
Yeah.
or where it's like taken over, or like a plague or something. But the idea that vampires have taken over and how
Yeah.
you'd survive in a vampire apocalypse, that's really cool. But yeah, really interested about all the sex stuff and like again links back to what we're saying, like the charm and the like trying to
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
manipulate and the clever. They're quite a sophisticated villain, aren't they? Vampires.
Definitely. So we're thinking about it. are we using our standard weapons? So we need to be growing garlic.
Yeah. You've got to be growing garlic. Yeah. Are we going for I think as well, the standard, they can't come in your house unless you're invited.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's an easy one. So in a lot of ways, just don't
invite me.
Just don't invite people in your house. Yeah.
But yeah, I'm too nice. I have an open door policy.
Yeah. Okay. And then, is it got to be stake through the heart?
It's got to be straight through the heart.
Or decapitation? Would that work?
I don't. I'm going stake through the heart.
Okay.
I'm going old school.
Old school.
Yeah. In I Am Legend, it's stake through the heart because he questions at one point, he's like, how do I keep hitting it?
Yeah.
I don't particularly know where the heart is. I'm just guessing every time.
Yeah,
I somehow managed to hit it. Really interesting as well, how he describes garlic, because when you are cutting garlic every minute of every day, so your house is basically a garlic bomb.
Yeah.
How your water tastes of garlic.
Oh,
everything
God.
you eat tastes of garlic.
Awful, wouldn't
Everything
it?
you smell. You pick up soap to wash your hands. It's fucking garlic. Like,
yeah.
Again, really interesting thing that you don't think about. You're like, shit, because I love the smell of garlic. People that say to me, oh, I've had garlic, don't come near me. Fuck off. Give us a kiss. You've had garlic bread, give us a kiss. Come here. But yeah, imagine that that strong smell of a
because it can be
garlic.
quite like overpowered. I love garlic and I love it on my food, but it can like almost like repeat on you quite a lot, can't it? You know, you have it like I have like garlic mushrooms and stuff quite often. You're like, oh, like sometimes I've put a bit too much on. You imagine that with everything, like just like you said, having a drink of water, but because there's so much garlic in your house,
it just tastes.
That's quite extreme, isn't it?
Yeah. As well, it's like even the cigarettes taste of garlic.
Bloody hell.
Yeah, it's fucking mad.
So I think garlic's one. I think you gotta go crucifix as well.
Gotta have a crucifix.
Gotta have a crucifix. Big fucker as well. That's obvious.
Oh yeah, on the front lawn.
Yeah, just everywhere.
Yeah.
Just
mirrors, because they don't like mirrors, do they? Although they're like, if we're going back to the old school, although their reflection can't be seen, they don't like them.
Yeah,
I never really understood why, but I just remember them not.
Yeah, so so you want a lot of mirrors in your house as well, because then for detection, because it's not always easy to spot a vampire, is it? They do very well at blending in. So if you're having a house party and you're like, everyone in, come on in, an open door policy, everyone's welcome. They've already breached the first line of defense.
Yeah.
And then
you look in the mirror and you've invited 5 people in and there's only one person stood behind you.
Yeah.
Stake.
Exactly.
In the heart.
Oh, we thoughts on the crossbow, because that's a classic vampire killing weapon.
Yeah, big fan of the crossbow.
Yeah, me too.
And also probably a lot easier to get hold of in this country.
Yeah, because we're not. I mean, guns are generally very ineffective. There's only the odd time it's like, I don't know, a silver bullet.
Yeah.
But even then, that's not very often you see that.
No.
Like Blade does that, but most of the ones, it's very ineffective.
Mm-hmm.
But then I think the problem with the crossbow or a bow and arrow, very hard to get the heart. Like this, that's you got to be pretty accurate. If someone's if it's a moving target, you know, it's hard enough firing a bow and arrow at a target that's just
sure, yeah.
And heart is going to be very small. So I think, whilst I love the idea of it, not realistically going to be that practical.
No, but it's worth having. If you can
worth
get one,
having.
take it.
Yeah.
You're going to lose a lot of stakes doing it that way, though.
Yeah, I think that's just going to be quite difficult. You know what you don't see in many vampire films, but I think would probably be one of the best weapons. Like, it's basically a stake, but having like basically a spear.
Yeah.
Because in the films, they all have little tiny stakes.
They do.
Which, great if the vampire's already sleeping, you can go up to it and stab it in the heart, fine, because it's not unwieldy. But you're fighting a vampire. It's like a wild animal that's trying to eat you. You want a spear. Get back.
Yeah.
Get the fuck back.
Like a hockey stick that you've just fashioned into.
Yeah. Or just like, I don't know, just a bit of tree. You've just sharpened up. The end of like a mop handle or a brush, a broom handle, you know, sharpen that up. And then you got a bit of range. Get a few of you as well, you know, sort of fend it off like as if you were fighting a bear or something.
Yeah, because when you think about it as well, we live in a plastic society now as well.
Yeah.
Not much is made of wood anymore, so you have to learn to whittle quick.
Yeah. My broom at home for the outside is wooden handle.
Cool.
So that would work quite. So I can sharpen that down. So that's quite easy. That's one straight away.
A guitar, I guess. I could sharpen that up a bit.
I just don't know if that's too thin though. I don't know if it'd splinter.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah. Plastic society, mate.
I
You need to
think-
start thinking
yeah.
about this now.
And sunlight's the ultimate weapon, isn't it, against a
course it is.
vampire? That's
UV
the
sunlight.
that's the massive advantage you've got straight away, is that whenever the sun's out, not just sunlight, daylight is what I would say. None of this. Oh, the clouds are out.
No, because
Fuck off, because you can still get burnt.
UV come through fucking clouds.
It fucking
And
does.
it's the UV rays that get them in.
Yeah, exactly. So if you were hunting like in that vampire society, you just have to, try and just open windows, smash, rip down the curtains, because every house has got curtains. Yeah, there might be in the basements and stuff, but
I think you'd have to board up your windows as well. Because if they're all coming at night, like in the book, and they're all like, oh, come on, you don't want to be looking at that. Like,
it'd be too tempting, wouldn't it?
every time you look out the window, there's about fucking 10 of them just staring through your window. You're like, oh, fuck off, man.
Just go away.
Go
Yeah.
away. You're not allowed in.
Yeah.
Just go away. Just be like having really annoying friends that want to party at your house all the
Yeah,
time.
and if they're all naked and stuff, and it's like,
Boobies
oh,
everywhere.
God.
Oh, go away with your boobies,
I know.
ladies.
Yeah.
And willies.
It'd be harder in the winter, though, wouldn't it? Because there is a lot less daylight. So you would feel under threat a hell of a lot more in the winter.
You'd be very bored. You'd be stuck in the house a lot, wouldn't
Yeah. Have you seen the vampire film 30 Days of Night?
you? God, that's such a bad film.
Yeah, it's pretty shit. But like it's quite a cool premise, as in, because it's set in like, is it set in like Norway or something, right?
Where
In the
they
far
have
north, where they have like 30 days of night, like a whole month of night.
Yeah.
So a vampire like band or whatever you'd call it. I don't know what the collective noun is for vampires.
A gaggle of
A
vampires.
gaggle of vampires come into town, and then they just set up because it's like, well, it's nighttime, so you can't you can't stop us.
Yeah.
And-
Yeah. You can't stop us. What are you going to do about it?
Yeah, it's not like you can just hold out till morning, because there is no morning.
No.
So I quite like that. That's quite a cool idea. Very poorly executed.
Yeah.
So that's not a recommendation from me.
No.
But the concept is quite a cool one. Yeah, I think it's pretty straightforward to vampires.
I think it's pretty straightforward. And the fact that they can't come in your house is just win-win, isn't it?
Yeah,
So it's still scary.
but
The thought that kind of the isolation would get you more than anything.
absolutely, because eventually, like, if it's an apocalypse, like apocalyptic world,
Yeah.
like I Am Legend, you have to go out and find supplies.
Oh, yeah.
and stuff. So you're gonna have to go into other buildings,
Mhm.
and if they're all boarded up, then you're going in, crucifix, garlic. Fire's a big one as well. They don't generally like fire.
No, I don't think many things do, though. do
No.
they?
So
Other than fire monsters.
so maybe some sort of flaming torch or
Yeah,
something.
flaming torch is
would
always
be-
good, isn't it? I
would be
mean,
quite
when
good.
we're talking about gothic horror, flaming torch fucking scares everything, doesn't it?
Yeah, exactly.
So, yeah. I think we've cracked that one.
I
quite
think
easy,
we'll be
didn't
all
we?
right. I think we've got more chance of surviving the vampires than we
Than the
have
zombies.
the zombies.
Definitely ghoulies.
Yeah. Oh,
'Cause
yeah.
we ain't surviving ghoulies. I think I
No.
just topped myself.
yeah. It's too scary. It's too scary.
Too scary. I don't want to get involved.
Yeah,
Thank
because
you.
at least with the vampires, if you're going to get killed, most of the time they've charmed you, so you're probably blissfully unaware.
Yeah, exactly.
You just, oh, beautiful woman, take me.
Take
like,
me. Take my body.
Oh, that hurts a little bit.
Oh,
Like,
tingle, tingle.
oh my god!
I'm a fucking vampire. Bollocks. This is going to happen.
Fuck.
At least everything doesn't taste of garlic anymore. I miss garlic.
Well, that's it. Yeah, if we've consumed enough garlic, then if we get bitten, maybe the vampires won't like it because it'll taste of garlic.
Yeah, true. Oh, yeah. They're just like, oh, no.
Oh, garlicky. They're like, how do you know? Now you know how we fucking feel.
Yeah, you
Smoking our
bastards.
garlic cigarettes.
Just listen to the new weed. Right, 59 minutes. I think we've cracked vampires.
Yeah.
I spoke about some of the greatest films of all time.
Yeah.
Let's be honest.
Oh, yeah.
There are some banging vampire films that
Absolutely
I completely
classic. Right.
forgot about.
How many of the Christopher Lee, Peter Cushing Hammer horror ones have you seen?
Not many.
I think I've only seen.
Years ago, a couple.
Yeah. They're really
not
hard to
many.
find.
Yes.
They're really, really hard to find because I love the Hammer horror stuff and I've seen quite a few, but there's hundreds.
Oh, God, yeah.
But I love the Christopher Lee, Peter Cushing and their like rivalry and,
Yeah.
Christopher Lee is Dracula, Peter Cushing's Van Helsing, and there's God knows how many. I think I've seen the very first Dracula one, so the
Yeah.
first one that they did together, but I'd love to see them all.
It'd be great, wouldn't it?
It'd be so, so good. Because he's, again, he classic, tall, imposing, quite charming,
Mhm.
aristocratic, Yeah, iconic. So I'd like to watch them, but difficult to find.
Difficult to find. We'll get around to it. We have Just Watch now.
Yeah, but
So
that's what I
we'll
mean. They're
find
just generally not on anything, or if they are, you have to pay for it.
Yeah, maybe Shudder. I'll have a look on Shudder because
I was tempted to sign up to Shudder. You know,
I've had
'cause
it
I was looking at
before. And
Prime.
I've just re-downloaded it because there's a couple
Yeah.
of films that I want to
I've
watch.
read
For a fiver.
Yeah, that's it. But
I use
they
it
all
more
add
than I
up.
use some things.
I recently re-signed up to BFI, the British Film
Oh, did
Institute
you?
one, because they have loads of classics on
Yeah,
there.
yeah.
So they had a film. I watched a few things on that. They've got quite a lot of the classic horrors on there.
Ooh, banging.
Japanese, The Ring is on there. That's
Ooh,
still not
yes.
watched. But and a film that we'll talk about in next episode that I watched as well. Classic. One other recommendation just before we
Go
end,
on.
very very quick one, a hidden gem, Near Dark.
Okay.
It is an 80s vampire film and it was, I think I've spoke about it before on the podcast, and it's Catherine Bigelow,
Mhm.
the female
The
director
director that did
that was with
Wonder Woman.
that did, and she did Hurt Locker.
Oh, yeah.
But she did a film in the 80s, and it's a vampire one, and she asked, she needed a cast to play the vampires, because it's basically about, it's more like a Western, so it's set in like the American West, and it's about a little band of roving vampires that are like this small clique, and they turn like a young lad, and he's like turning, and it's about him trying to not turn because he's not feeding, and his grips with that. And she wanted a well-established cast to play the vampires, so it's basically the cast of Aliens.
No
So
way,
it's,
really.
It's Bill Paxton,
Oh my god.
Lance Henriksen, and Jeanette Goldstein. So it's literally Hicks, Bishop, and Vasquez
That's
from
fucking ace, isn't
from
it?
Aliens. They finished that in 86 and then filmed this for 87, and
That's
they
insane.
are properly cool. But it's a really cool. It's like a Western, like kind of Western feel, like out like in the American West, and they're all like a bit more like gunslingers type, set in modern day, well 80s. But that's a really cool hidden gem of a film. I'll recommend that as well.
Near Dark. I'll look it
Near
up.
Dark, Interview
Just
with
for
the
the cast
Vampire,
itself.
Lost Boys,
And, yeah. Just Till Dawn if you haven't seen
from
it.
Dusk Till Dawn, yeah,
Yeah.
as well as everything else we've mentioned.
Absolutely. So if you enjoyed it, please drop us a message. We've been getting some pretty nice messages recently.
We have,
these,
haven't we? We've got
these
it.
monster ones.
Yeah. Let us know how you would survive against the vampires.
Yeah,
what are your top tips?
Yeah, let us know if we've forgotten anything as well, like any powers
some-
they have or anything they're scared of.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
Also,
just like us on Facebook and shit.
Yeah.
Because, we've not been that active on it actually recently. And I
No.
did say I'd get better at it, which promise I will. Now we're getting back to normal. I'll get
yeah,
better
back
at-
into a routine.
sharing a bit
The
more
summer
shit.
will be over in a week's time.
It
We'll be back
will.
to normal.
Yeah, back to having nothing better to do.
Yeah, pretty much.
Right, any parting thoughts, mate?
Um,
Peace.